Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are brothers on tennis. And folks, we have started and entered the clay court season, and man, oh man, the dirt is good. Yes, dirt is good. Man, Bryce, we've seen a couple tournaments thus far. The ladies were in Charleston about a week or so ago, and then we just finished up the Master Series for the fellas, man. How about the green and the red stuff, man? How are you liking the clay, brother?
Man, well, clay has always been my least favorite surface, as not only a player, but also as a spectator. But it's good to see things, switch up a little bit. And I love the fact that some of these people that we have said in the past aren't clay quarters,
Mm-hmm.
sure aren't playing like they're not clay quarters.
Exactly, right?
There's some growth in some people's games, so
Yes, yes, there
that's
is, man.
that's really good to see.
I agree, man. I find that this is going to be a pretty fun clay court season because you've got a lot of people who are just hot, just simply put. They won a lot, so they're on a good hot streak. They're not known for their clay court tennis, but yet and still they're getting good results. So it's going to be
Hmm.
really funny and fascinating to see, who continues to show out as we play more tournaments on the dirt, if you will.
Yes.
So, Bryce, we did have a couple tournaments, and which would you like? Let's go ahead and start with Charleston since it was about a week or so ago.
Okay.
The ladies went to Charleston. Of course, the fellas had some 250s, which we'll briefly talk about. But in Charleston, man, we had I mean, talk about a wild repeat, if you will. At least in the final. I mean, I know that what was it? Just not Pagula, but Belinda Bencic.
Hmm.
I believe they had a bit of a war of attrition getting to the final and actually had to play the semis as well as the final on the same day.
Right.
Take us through your thoughts, man, on just that whole Sunday, if you will.
Well, I take it back to a conversation that we were having, I think, on our last show, which was we felt that this tournament with Jessica Pagula as the number one seed, this was an opportunity for her to show up and say, hey, I'm number three in the world. I'm the top American. I'm the top seed here. Let me show you I can come and I can win a tournament.
Right.
And and to give her a little slack,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
never an easy out against Belinda Bencic. Um, and she played a very good match against her. I think it was 7-5, 7-6 in the semifinals.
Correct.
But the truth of the matter is, once again, she didn't get the job done.
Right. Right.
Um, and on the flip side of things, Ans Jabeur returns and says, watch out, let me just get back to where I was at when I left.
Exactly.
So the good thing about the match that you're talking about, the semifinals between Bencic and Pagula, is I think on the second day they only had when they came back, weren't they almost like in the tiebreaker
Yeah,
already?
they were in the tiebreaker, exactly.
Tiebreaker. So, she had a few points to win.
Ex-
So I don't think that really played into anything for the final for her.
right.
If anything, I would have thought she would have been, more ready to go, more warmed up,
Exactly.
because you come out, you play 5 or 6 points, you're feeling pretty good. But shout out to Ons Jabeur. I mean, you know, I just feel like she is going to be the one in this next group of players. She's going to play that Ash Barty role. She's going to be the one that has that counter game to all of these ladies with the power.
Right.
And I, you never know when you come back from an injury, or especially from getting a procedure done. You're never guaranteed to kind of come back and pick up where you left off. But I just want to mention, in her path, you know she took out that Kalinskaya, who is a a very good player. She took out Kasakina, who we know is very good on clay. And
Right.
then Bencic was the defending champion. Like you said, we had the repeat of the finals from last year.
Hmm.
So I will give another shout out to Badosa because, Badosa been getting stoned for long. So the fact that, she made it to the quarterfinals and, no disrespect and losing to Pagula there. That was a good win for her to get that far. And the other person that I want to give just a little bit of a shout out to is, I'm still very confused with your girl,
Yeah.
Madison Keys. I mean, she made it to the quarterfinals. We hadn't really, I mean, didn't she have a good Australian Open this year?
Yeah, she did. Yep. Yep.
And then, I think we didn't really hear a whole lot from her. And,
There was a little bit of an injury, yeah, because I was
right.
listening to the telecast and Lindsay Davenport was kind of reporting on the fact that she had been kind of injured, came down with some sickness. So she's had some weird ailments in 2023, to be very honest with you. And that actually happened again in that Kazakina match because apparently there was a sickness or something that happened in
Okay.
that match because she came out playing really well and then you could noticeably see that there was something that changed kind of in that second set and she really wasn't playing as engaged or as much energy as she had in the previous rounds and yeah
Right.
Kazakina ended up getting her in three but yeah it's kind of a weird year for Madison. I don't kind of know. I'm like you, I don't know quite what's going on, but I feel like she's still having a really good year. I think that United Cup helped her a lot. And if she can just kind of get away from some of these little sicknesses and slight ailments, I do feel like things will pick up for her. For me, Bryce, I still feel like Madison actually should do extremely well during the grass court season, as short as it may be. To me, I've always felt like her game is just ideal for grass. It's that first strike. She hits very flat. She hits very hard. And if she can get herself in as far as just not good shape, because she's in good shape, but if she can just kind of stay away from the ailments and everything, I do feel like she'll have a great grass court season. And who's to say she still may have a great clay court season? Because again, to make it, do this well in this tournament and go down to Kazakina, yeah, not too bad.
Right. Right. And you know what, Isaac? We saw some people at this tournament we hadn't seen for a while. Haley Baptiste.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
she's been off for a bit, and so she came in and got a first round win before going out to Madison Keys. Svitolina, after having a
Yes.
baby,
That's
got a
right.
wild card, and
Gems.
yeah, yeah. And Putin Saber was like, "You're not just gonna like roll back out here, like we ain't already been out here. That ain't gonna happen."
That ain't gonna happen. Sorry, sis.
But you know what? It went 6-4 in the third,
Yeah,
so you can't be mad at that. Um,
exactly.
so it was good to see those players back.
Absolutely agree with you, bro. And I can't wait to see Svitolina even more because I mean she looked great. I think basically what kept her from winning that match was just again the rust and the match toughness. I think that once she
Hmm.
gets out there and plays more matches, she's gonna be fighting her way back into that top 20. That's for sure.
Right. Now, I am still disappointed a little bit here with Alicia Parks. I mean, wa- we're still waiting to see if she can win a match that's outside, because we know what she does indoors.
Right,
We know
indoors,
what she
no
does
question.
indoors,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know what she got going on between the wind and the sun. But um, yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't get out of the first round either. But like you said, great tournament coming down to a final four of Pagula, Bencic, Kasakina, and Jabeur.
Right.
And like I said, I'm just really proud of Jabeur.
Yeah.
That was such a strong. I mean, and especially to turn around that result from last year when she lost to Bencic in the finals.
Exactly. And she had the hot shot of the tournament pretty much end of the
Yes.
week with the tweener and then the
Yep.
slice passing shot. That was
Yep.
oh, that was sweet. That was sweet, man. That was sweet.
She was like, I got tricks. I was drawing this up when I was in the hospital bed recovering. I was like,
Right?
okay, I'm gonna add
Oh
this
my.
to the repertoire.
Exactly, man. No, she did the thing, and like you said, man, kudos to her coming back, getting vengeance, getting a title under her belt. Ons Jabeur is looking strong on the clay, brother.
Absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
Isaac, something else that we learned during the tournament. Now, we knew that the owners, the Navarro family of the Charleston tournament, had purchased the, the Western and Southern tournament in Cincinnati. But
Yes.
what the new information was for us is that Todd Martin is now the tournament director for Cincinnati. What do you think about that?
Man, that it's big stuff, Bryce. That's big because Todd Martin has been so, tightly tied to the International Tennis Hall of Fame. I mean, he was, his role there has been extensive for the last I don't even know how many years. It feels like it's probably been 10 years.
Right.
So the fact that he is now kind of stepped away from that, Kim Kleisters is now assuming an interim role there, and now he's kind of moving into this direction and working with the Navarro family, taking on that tournament director role at the Western and Southern. I think it's awesome, man. I think it's awesome. I mean, again, Todd Martin is one of the stalwarts for American tennis. He was in there, as we always talk about Agassi, Sampras, and Courier and Chang. But little do we forget, there was Todd Martin and there was Malavia Washington that were kind of
Yep.
hanging out there as well. And those guys did their thing as well. So nice to see that Todd Martin is, stepping into a new role, and just looking forward to seeing what he's going to do as tournament director, because we know that the Navarro family is doing big things, and they've consistently improved that Charleston tournament for the ladies. So it will be
Yes.
interesting to see exactly what they do and what improvements that they bring to the table as it relates to the Western and Southern and Cincy. Because Bryce, who will be there. That would be
Uh,
me and you.
yeah, we will be there for sure. Gotta go back. Gotta go back home, man. Gotta go back home.
That's right. That's
Uh,
right.
so, all right. Well, that was the Charleston tournament.
Absolutely.
Um, now for the men, we had a Masters series or Masters 1000. It's hard to keep up with these names. The Monte Carlo tournament, and I just want to start off by saying, none of these clay court tournaments are the same without Mr. Nadal there, right?
Right. Exactly. None of the same without him. We hate that Nadal is still kind of working his way back, and he did actually give an announcement that he wouldn't be playing. I forget what the tournament was that he was entered in. I think it might have been this week. But he had to pull out of that. So I don't know if it was Barcelona or not. But
Yeah.
regardless, yeah, he still seems to be kind of healing up. And we only want 100% Rafa. So,
Right.
Rafa, do whatever it is you need to do in order to come back so that you are the true contender, as you always are, once we get to Roland Garros, i.e., the Nadal Open.
Right. Exactly. But you know what? Even without Nadal, this was a fire tournament.
Woo, fire.
I
Yes.
mean, the matchups from just even the first round were very good. And of course, a lot of people were focused in on your boy Novak Djokovic. He was making, his return to playing a tournament that wasn't in the United States. And you know, he came out there and, did his well, he got a bye in the first round, but then,
Right.
he beat somebody, I don't even know who he were, in the second round. But then he met up with Lorenzo Musetti.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yeah,
know
he
what
did.
Musetti said? Looking for that good stuff. Tighten up on that backstroke. That's what he said. He said, come get some of this backhand. Come get some.
That was
Come
good,
get
Bryce.
some.
Yes, sir. Yes, he did, man. And you know why he did? Because apparently he came out of the previous round with his countrymen and was like, "You look hungry, so we're gonna give you some bagels so that you can snack on those while you watch me play Novak."
There is no reason for anybody to take a double bagel in a Masters 1000 tournament past the first round.
Bryce, hey, Andy Roddick even said he was like, hell, I should go out there and play him then because I can get that score. I was like, exactly, Andy, me too. Me
Right,
too.
exactly. But Musetti, that was a career win for him, of course.
Yes, it was.
Beating the number one player in the world, one of the big three.
Oh yeah, and someone he looks up to. Because remember, that was I think Musetti had to travel someplace, and I think somehow or another Novak gave him a ride on his jet or something like that. So yeah, there was some storyline around that like a year or two ago. So no, he definitely looks up to Novak. So for him to be able to go out there on court and be able to pull an upset like that, that's significant. Very.
And after losing the first set.
Yeah.
Because normally Djokovic gets that first set from you, he's gonna just roll right on over you.
That's right. Yeah, he played some solid tennis, man. I watched that entire match, and Musetti was he is someone to deal with. Do not play. He's got a great game, and I think he's just one of those that's taking him a little bit more time to figure out all of his variety that he has. But he's definitely going to be one of the folks that's going to be pushing up there with the other young guys. Apparently his countrymen is like, I'm a little bit further along than you, sir. So I appreciate that victory that you just you just notched. But let me hand you some of these Hope biscuits, and we're gonna walk on.
Because now you look hungry.
Yeah, you look hungry, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and this was. I mean, not saying that Sinner wasn't going to win that matchup anyway, but
right.
The hometown matchup. But that we know that was going to be hard. Him coming off of beating Djokovic, probably beating anybody in that next round.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now, if we want to keep the drama going, we need to just go a little bit further down that draw. And when who was it? Casper Ruud made that crack on Medvedev about seeing him on the clay. Who look good on the clay right now is Daniil Medvedev.
Like we said, bro, do you got these guys out here talking about, I don't know about my clay? I mean, not that they're talking about it, but Medvedev, of course, historically has not been known for, playing well on clay. And of course, this is not his best surface of all of the surfaces. Right. I tell you what, winning breeds confidence. And that is what Medvedev has been doing all year. The boy been winning.
Yep. And, Sonego was a good win on clay. And in front of the Italian crowd. But that was a strong win against Alexander Zverev.
It was. And what about the spiciness afterwards? We might have to say that for the IG, but there was some spiciness.
Oh, you know what? This is one of the reasons why I like Medvedev.
Yeah.
Beyond what he does on the court, he's a little gangster, right?
Right.
And so the moment Zverev opened up his mouth, I knew Medvedev was going to be coming back with something.
Yes, sir.
And for the listeners that may not know what we're talking about, Zverev accused Medvedev of being an unfair player. Different tactics he did during the match, like taking the bathroom breaks and other things. And then when they went to shake hands at the net, it was a frosty handshake.
It was frosty.
Yeah. It was like Wendy's. And so what ended up happening is, when Zverev made those comments about Medvedev in the press, Medvedev didn't hold back. He came back and really kind of turned the tables and said, like, now you're not wanting to talk.
Right.
And let's put this out here, right? And I'm gonna tell you what. I was reading an article, and this guy said he thoroughly enjoyed this because, we're coming off a generation where the big three, they were, well, we can even say the big four, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was pretty chummy. I mean, yeah, Djokovic was a step kid, but, all in all,
Right.
everybody was kind of chummy with each other so they could compete and then they could still be hugging and crying and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the generations before that, the top player, like Pete didn't like Andre, Andre didn't like Pete, McEnroe didn't like Connors didn't like it, Linda didn't like none of them bitches, just, and so now it's kind of like we're having a little, like you said, Isaac, a little spiciness amongst the top players again. And that, to me, that's not a bad thing. I think that adds to the game.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that there are positives when there is that level of kind of, again, spiciness, when there's that spiciness between the players. I think that you will see someone like an Alcaraz play like the Federer / Nadal role. I don't think that he will be. I think he's going to be above it all.
Right.
But quietly, yeah, like I said, Sinner was spicy with Rune. When you saw that handshake.
Yep.
He was looking at Rune like, yeah, I need to see you in the locker room, sir, because I don't like your tactics either. So yeah, bro, I think it's going to be a really nice kind of spiciness between a lot of the top players. I really agree with you 100% there, my man.
And you know what? Who I'm a little concerned for, just a little bit, not a whole bit.
Yeah,
it's Tsitsipas.
Yeah.
Because he's starting to take some L's a little more consistently, and once again, Taylor Fritz is showing that he is trying to really be, up at the top, and he is wearing that crown of being the top American. Well, to come out there on clay, and wait a minute, first of all, to step out there and beat Wawrinka.
Thank you. Yep.
Which was a good win. And then Lehechka.
Yep.
Was another good win. And I actually kind of thought he was going to go down to Tsitsipas. But shoot, after that whole biscuit in the first set, I thought, ooh, I might need to think a little different.
I think I might need to think a little different because you know what? I'm beginning to wonder if Fritz is not going to be like Andy Roddick, because remember you had all those talents, in James Blake and Fish and Ginepri, and you had all those guys where you're like, are they going to try and push, for that number one American spot? Andy Roddick was like, I am not having it from any of y'all. And I feel like Taylor Fritz might be doing the same thing. I think he might be like, listen, y'all sitting there underestimating me, but you better know you're gonna have to come with it if you want this top American spot on the male side. And like I said, he is not known for playing well on clay, but to get out there and to beat, like you said, the folks he beat, Wawrinka, Lehechka, and then to take it on Tsitsipas and played a really fantastic match against Rublev. I mean, for him to be able to make it to the semis of a Masters Series on clay, that is an incredible result for Taylor Fritz.
Yes, it is. It is.
So Michael Russell, whatever you're doing, brother, you keep on doing it with him. How about that?
Absolutely. And then you get to the finals. So you have Rublev versus Rune. And I mean, I didn't know which way this was going to. I actually thought Rune was going to win.
I thought Rune was going to win as well. I think that his body let him down towards the end because you could tell something physically happened going in, in that third set, because he was up 4-1 in the third. And then I think it was one of those things where the body started doing something. He didn't know exactly what was going on. And you know how that can just, that little lapse in focus can cost you. And it did, because Rublev was like, oh, wait a minute, I see an opening. And he ran right on through that thing and stole that Master Series from Holger. But good on Rublev. I was so happy for that young man, because he's been known for Mr. 500, Mr. 500. Can't get it done at the Master Series 1000 level. And for him to finally get one under his belt, I was extremely happy for Andre Rublev.
Yeah. And I may be wrong here, so listeners don't come for me if this is not right. But I think I saw that Rublev is the godfather of Daniil's child.
Oh, you did? No, you saw it right because quietly Prakash asked him about that at one of the interviews at the desk after he had won, and it was too. Now Rublev, he's like a lot like Bublik and all those other guys who are just out of their mind crazy when you interview them. It's so funny. He was just like, so the pastor was telling me you got to do this, and you got to make sure they don't do that, and you got to make sure that they don't do that. He looked at me, he was like, well, shoot, what the real daddy's supposed to do? I said, that's
That's
right.
hilarious.
So no, that's cool to show that, or for them to show or say that he and Medvedev have that level of closeness that
Right.
Medvedev would ask him to be the godfather of his new baby. That's awesome. That really is.
Yeah, that is really good. So,
Yeah.
so let me ask you: with Rublev winning Monte Carlo, do you put him in your contender category now, or
Do what
is
you mean for
this
the
like
French?
for the French? Right.
I would say no. I like Andre Rublev a lot, folks. Don't get me wrong. I like him and I like when he wins and everything, but I still feel that Andre Rublev's game is still a little bit too one dimensional. I don't
Hmm.
I don't feel like he still has the level of feel at the net that I feel like a really top player and a contender for a Grand Slam should have. It's just the variety that I feel like is missing with him. I just feel like he's bam bam, and I don't know. It's hard for me to see a Bam Bam being able to win a Grand Slam. Yes, you can win a Master Series. Yes, you can win tons of 500s. I just don't know that I see that happening at the Master. I mean, at the Grand Slam level. What about you, Bryce? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think so. And another factor that I put in there is the 3 out of 5. You know,
Yes, exactly.
could he sneak through here in best of three and make it through? Of course, but 7 matches, best of 5, um, against some of these guys. If he ends up having to go through a Runa, a Sinner, a Medvedev, a Djokovic,
Yep.
I think it'll be tight on him.
I absolutely agree with that, brother. 100%. So yeah. Like I said, I love Andre Rublev. I'm a big fan of his, but yeah, it's he would have to have a lot of things work in his favor in order to win a Grand Slam at this point, at least. Like I said, if he continues to kind of build and grow his game and keep his mental right, I think that he'll get potentially closer to it. But then that's even tough to say because again, all the other players are getting better as well. So
Right.
yeah.
Now I must admit, were you not surprised that Struth took out Rude?
Now you talked about who you being concerned about, and you said Tsitsipas. I actually thought you were going to say Casper Ruud because let me be very clear for you, brother. I am concerned about Casper Ruud. I know he won last week, and that was really nice because that was a 250, and he should have won that one. But
Right.
Casper Ruud should not be getting stolen on clay by Jan Lennard Struth. I mean, and I like Struth. I like his game, big guy. But if you're Casper Ruud and you were pushing upon being the number one player in the world last fall,
Yeah.
and this is
Hmm.
your favorite surface, and you getting
Hmm.
stolen by again a resurgent Struth.
You took a
For me,
breadstick in the first set.
right? That's what I'm talking about, bro. You can't. No, I am very concerned about Casper Ruud. I really am. I mean, because you just, yeah, I mean, yeah. But in truth, Bryce, I don't mean to be mean, and I don't mean this with. It's going to probably come across disrespectful, but I don't mean it as such. I feel
Hmm.
like Casper has over over achieved, if
Achieved.
that's the right thing, because you know how
Hmm.
we see players and we're like, oh, this person underachieves, and I actually feel like Casper Ruud has overachieved. The fact that he was number 2 in the world, pushing to get that number 1 ranking, again with the backhand that he has, to me it's a hole. It's much of a weakness as it is for like a CC Pass.
Hmm.
But again, he's a great competitor and he's very, his mind is right. His mind is good. He's got a good mind and he knows how to compete. But I just feel like with his game, I honestly feel like Casper has overachieved, in my opinion. When you look at the talent that's out there right now, Alcaraz and Sinner and even Rune for that matter, I just don't know that I see him staying in that top 5 long term. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because he had an amazing year last year. I mean, making it to
Correct.
2 Grand Slam finals. Like I said, the only other person that's did that last year was Rafa.
Right.
So he's got a lot of points to defend. And I'm not quite sure he's going to be able to defend all of them.
Right. Yeah, but I like Casper. We like Casper a lot, and I can't wait to see Casper and Rune play another match because that's spice. I like that spiciness. I like it.
I'm telling you. And for those of you that just say, "Oh, but Casper's so nice," remember when they told him, somebody said he was a pusher. He said, "Oh, okay, come out on the court. Let me show you how much I push the ball."
I'll show you how much I push. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm telling you what, man. We gonna have a confrontation on one of these matches.
Dude. I'm all for it. I am waiting.
And did you see? So after the NCAA's, the basketball tournament, and you had Bayou Barbie getting all that flack for the smack she talked,
right.
And they didn't do that for the other girl.
Right.
I found it interesting that on Tennis Channel they were asking the players, would they be cool if they allowed, if there was trash talk?
Trash talk, right?
And it seems like most of them were kind of down for it. And the funny thing was when they asked who they thought on the women's side would be good at it, they were consistently saying Azarenka.
I know, they was like, yeah, Vika throw some shots.
I guess she'd be out there bad like that, huh?
Why you think her and Serena were girls? Come on, man. Come on, man. Why you think she wear her hair in cornrows? Come on, man.
That is hilarious. I love it.
Oh, man. Yes.
So, like you said, shout out to Rublev. A great win, and Rune just continues to impress and to make his way, because he's like number 6 now.
Yeah,
I think in the rankings.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's it. When you look at these tournaments now, it's really about the next gen.
Yes, it really is. Yeah. Well, Holger Rune even made that point of saying as much.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, he was talking about the next big 3 was him, Sinner, and Alcaraz.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it all that, but
he was a little bit. But you know what? I see Rune as being very much Djokovic-esque, if you will.
Okay.
In the sense of when Roger and Rafa were already sort of out there doing the thing, kind of modest, not saying too much, but letting their results speak for themselves. It was Djokovic that was kind of out there talking all that big noise, even though he hadn't had the results yet. But that level of confidence was there because he just knew that he had the ability to be able to get to that level and play at that level. I very much see Rune as being very similar in that regard. He's putting some bold stuff out there, bro. But the thing is, I honestly believe that he will be the one to back it up. I really believe that he is going to be like, my game is that good that yes, I am going to win Grand Slams. And yes, I am going to contend for number 1. And I don't doubt it. I really don't.
And that's where I say where my concern comes from for Tsitsipas.
Right.
I think he could potentially be at risk of missing his window.
I 100% agree, bro. 100% agree. Because now is the window. Now is the time. If you're going to kind of sneak in there and snatch you a Grand Slam, and that's why I feel bad for Casper Ruud. I feel like he may have missed his opportunity. Because again, if it doesn't happen at this French Open, it's going to be tight on him. I'm telling you, it's going to be because at that point, Carlos Alcaraz is going to get himself right.
Right.
And there's going to be a couple other people that, yeah, they will know how to handle Casper Ruud on clay. So he needs to get it together, man.
And give Medvedev a couple more years on clay.
Exactly. I know that exactly. Watch out for Medvedev at this U.S. Open, bro. Because I'm telling you, if he is able to keep this level of confidence that he has gained, yeah. I'm
gonna throw something else at you, Isaac. And I know we mentioned this before, But let's not forget how he was clowning on the grass last year,
That's
but he
true.
couldn't play. He couldn't
But he
play
couldn't
Wimbledon.
play. That's right. That's
And I
right.
was all surprised, like, how Medvedev winning all these matches on grass? He is really trying to let people know. I mean, he even says it himself. He's king on hard court,
Right.
but you can't just look past him on
No,
these other surfaces.
no, you cannot. You cannot because Medvedev knows how to adjust. Even though
Yep.
you see him 9,000 feet behind the baseline, he will not play that way on grass because he knows
No.
that he will have to adjust his game, similar to how Rafa adjusted his game to win
Yep.
Wimbledon. Medvedev knows he can do the exact same thing. Do not sleep on that man's serve and the power that he has in his ground
Yes.
strokes. Medvedev is not to be played with, folks. I'm trying to tell you, he is not. You might think he's that, back behind the, defender behind the court. No, Medvedev knows he can do more than just push and retrieve.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh boy, so that was good. So all right. Now, Isaac, we were also talking before the show about the Billie Jean King Cup.
Yes, yes, yes.
And although we're not gonna run through all these countries that were battling each other, we just gonna focus here at home.
Yes.
At the Delray Beach Tennis Center in Delray Beach. We had the good old US of A playing Austria.
Yes.
And so, Isaac, what do you think? We had Jessica Pegula, Danielle Collins, Coco Gauff, and Katie McNally on the
Yes.
squad.
And
Sophia
Sophia
Kenin. I'm sorry.
Kenin. Yeah. Yep.
She
You got it.
She was there.
She was there. She didn't play, but she was there. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think, Isaac?
Well, you know what? I tell you what, Bryce, and this is the thing because I know I stepped out there and was kind of on Jess Pagula about hey, if you don't win this tournament, then that's a real cause of concern. But you know what? Jess Pagula is putting in reps right now, and I can't be mad at that because even after losing that semifinal in Charleston against Belinda Bencic, she went and played the Billie Jean King Cup and played, as the top singles. And that's the thing that with Jess, I think that we are underestimating is how proud she is to be the top ranked American player, not female, not WTA player, the top American player. She is ranked higher than Taylor Fritz, folks. She has that ranking. She is the number one. And the fact that she I feel like she's embracing that, and that really is awesome to see. So while she's putting in a lot of reps, she was like, "Listen, I'm gonna go to this Billie Jean King Cup, and I'm gonna do exactly what I need to do, which is flex and show that I am the number one American." And she did just that. She got in there and she won both of her singles matches. She clinched the tie, in the third game because of course Coco won her match in the second match they played. So I'm just very, very, very impressed with Jess Pagula. Like I said, I still want to see her get those numbers up as it relates to actual winning titles. But right now, she's putting in the work. She's putting in the hours. She's stepping up. And to me, she is actually owning the top American ranking that she has.
Right.
What about you, bro? What are your thoughts?
I agree with you. I mean, she's staying out there. She's, like you said, getting reps. She's playing consistently. And she's doing what she does. But we will, continue to keep our eye on her in the later rounds of these larger tournaments.
Yes.
Because that's where we're not, seeing her get the job done. But still very proud of her. I mean, she's, like you said, she is the top American. And I bet you a couple of years ago, nobody thought she'd be the top American.
Exactly. And again, I always talk about grass, and I was, mentioning Madison Keys. I actually think Jess Pagula has a great chance of playing well on the grass because, again, she's playing with very, very flat ground strokes that are going to slide. They shouldn't bounce up too high. And she's worked on her return of serve, and she's being a lot more aggressive on that shot. So I really look forward to seeing what she's going to do once we hit the grass season as well.
Right. And then, the fans got treated to a rare spotting these
rare
days
sighting
of Mikoko.
That's right.
They came together and played and got a win and a dead rubber. Now, here's the thing. Here's a question I was going to ask you before the show, Isaac, but I said I'll wait till the show.
Okay.
So let's say it came down to this doubles match was key to win the tie.
Mm-hmm.
Would that have been Mikoko or would that have been Jessica and Coco?
Yeah, that would have been Jessica and Coco for sure. And the reason I say that is because they just came off of winning a 1000 series doubles title just a few weeks back at, what was it, Miami, right? Or yeah,
Right.
yeah. And mind you, and Sinyakova and Krejcikova were not in there with them. So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So as long as they not in the draw, yeah, you gotta put Jess and Coco forward. So as much as we love Makoko, I just think that, you know, it makes sense if you're the captain that you're going to put in the ones that have had the strongest results, and that has been Jess Pagula and Coco.
Right.
What about you?
Right.
What would you have done as a coach? I mean,
Oh, definitely Pagula and Goff. I mean, they've been, they've been doing it, and that's who you go with, and those are your top two. But this was good the way that this played out because Coco didn't play. They canceled her singles match since it didn't matter, and so she was able to go out there and just have fun with her friend.
Exactly. And that's what you want to see. You want it, and I think that's good for, us as fans, is to see that they are still friendly, they still are okay with playing with one another, and that it wasn't anything, all dramatic or anything that caused them to stop playing. It was just the fact that, again, I think Coco is at a point in her singles career where she's available for tournaments that unfortunately McNally is not.
And let's be clear. Shout out to Katie McNally. Her ranking is now up to number 67.
There you go. Yes. Shout out.
So she is, because we saw her in the main draw of the Charleston tournament.
That's
so
right.
Some of these tournaments, now she won't have to qualify for.
Right. Yeah, that's just a great thing. We always want the best for Katie McNally. So hopefully she will continue building her singles ranking and getting those results.
Yes, absolutely. So
yeah. Well, and just really quickly, Bryce, I was going to just very quickly, because what we didn't do is kind of throw some shout outs to the folks who had won tournaments before actually the Monte Carlo, the lower or smaller tournaments. So, we were talking about Casper Ruud, but he actually did win the Estoril title against Kecmanovic. So that was a good victory. So shout out to Casper for doing that. Roberto Carballes Baena, he took a title in the Grand Prix in Morocco, excuse me, the first week of April. So shout out to him, and shout out to our boy Tiafo. I mean, yes, it's U.S. clay. Yeah, everybody kind of talks stuff about it. Only the U.S. people are involved, but regardless, he went in as the number one seed, and he walked out as the number one seed with the title.
well, he did what we said we want to see Jessica do.
Exactly. If you were the top seed, you need to go on ahead, get through it, and take home that hardware. And that's exactly what he did. So shout out to Big Foe.
Yeah.
That
was a good one.
Yes, sir. So yeah, Bryce, we've got a couple more, a couple tournaments queued up this week. The guys I think are playing 3 tournaments. I think the ladies are playing they're playing a 500, right? I believe that's the case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's still some great tennis out there, folks. So stay tuned, because the road to Roland Garros is getting hot. It's popping.
Well, and it's interesting because the men have a 300. I'm sorry, 300. What kind of tournament is that? A 500 as well. But Djokovic is playing that 250.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? I guess he saw that Carlos Alcaraz was in that 500. He was like, I don't know if I want none of him just yet.
He was like, I can't get past Musetti.
Right?
What I'm gonna try to do with a daggone Alcaraz.
Exactly. These young ones are coming too quick. I gotta pace myself.
Right. But it's some, like you said, there's several tournaments out there, and there should be some good tennis this week.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. So yeah, folks. I mean, that's pretty much what we've got. Bryce, anything additional for the folks out there?
Just to let everybody everybody know, thank you everyone that went out and voted for us for
Yes.
Best Tennis Podcast. We did not win. We were not in the top three, but we were in the top 12. And one of the things that we're very proud about is that this award is a global award. So we're not
Yes.
talking about we were top 12 in the United States. We made the final 12 globally, and we are very, very proud of that. And we thank you all for your support and helping us to get there. And who knows, maybe next year we will hold up the trophy.
Maybe next year, folks, we're gonna keep this train rolling. Regardless, we're gonna keep doing what we do. So that it's nice to be recognized, and we appreciate it. And again, like Bryce said, thanks for going out and voting and taking the time to do so. We are gonna keep bringing this brand of tennis to you in the best way that we can, and yeah. Hopefully the accolades will catch up.
Right. Absolutely. So, well, thank you everyone for listening. We're going to get ready to go do our after show on IG Live. So make sure you go out to our IG page and check that out when you get a chance. But on behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone, stay safe.